Hi, how you doing? Welcome to our Sunday Middies conversation. I'm sitting down with Coach Corral, the associate head coach at University of Memphis. Coach Corral, you're going into your fourth season at the University of Memphis. Can you tell us a little bit about the road you've taken to get in the position you are today?
Well, I've had the wonderful experience of starting out my coaching career for the school that I played for. I played at Delta Junior College prior to going to the University of California, Berkeley. So my first coaching experience was at Delta Community College under Pat Doyle. And I spent a couple years with him before heading up north to Sacramento City College, where I got to meet Jerry Weinstein, and Jerry Weinstein is one of the best coaches in the country, and to have that opportunity, that really springboarded me with my enjoying what coaching was about. You know, one of the things that I like to say about Coach Weinstein is that he's an Einstein with a W, a whole bunch of them. And start out with a guy like that was very good. You know, after Pat Doyle, who really got my passion going for coaching, then through that process with Jerry Weinstein at Sacramento City College, I was approached by the Montreal Expos and got to take my path to professional baseball and coached a year with the Expos and 2 years with the Dodgers. After that, after coaching in the South Atlantic League with the Dodgers, my wife said, "This is a wonderful part of the country. You got to find a way to get us here." And I was fortunate enough to be offered a position at the University of Tennessee with Rod Delmonico. And from there, my Division I experience started. And that was 2 years at Tennessee, 3 years at Oklahoma, returned back to Tennessee for 2 years, was let go after my second year. As you well know, or you may not know, but in this coaching field, there's a lot of pressure to win, and losing your position is part of the process. It wasn't one that I wanted, but it happened. And now I'm at the University of Memphis for my fourth year, and I'll tell you, in your coaching path, some may look at it and say, well, why me? Why now? Why this? I like to think of it more as I'm always at the right place at the right time. And I feel that way strongly about the University of Memphis. You know, right now I'm at the right place at the right time. And, having been to all those schools, baseball is baseball. If you've got guys that enjoy playing the game, have the urgency to get better, have the passion to work like no other, it doesn't matter where you're at. Baseball is baseball, and I really love being at Memphis.
That's outstanding. Now, you're a very well-respected coach when it comes to the baseball world. As you mentioned, you're at programs like Oklahoma, Tennessee. You've had countless guys get drafted. How do you continue with the success that you've had day in and day out?
Well, I'd like to think that success will eventually come to at a greater pace, but the success that I've had, I don't know that it's me, as it is more so with the young men that I've been fortunate enough to coach. It's if you listen to Hall of Fame coaches talk at the ABCA when they're accepting their awards, it seems that they thank everybody out there except themselves, and it's a wonderful thing that they acknowledge that a lot of things factor into them. Fortunately, if I do have a successful pitching background and I do have a successful coaching career, it truly is a result of the young men that I've been able to coach. I mean, we've had a great number of them go to professional baseball. 8 of them have made it to the big leagues, and that's a wonderful thing. But also, as a coach, you got to facilitate that stuff, and the way that I facilitate it, if I do at all, is I give them everything I got. I give them all the information. They know everything that I know, and as a result of knowing what I know and working together, we both work on common ground, and we both elevate in the same. I've learned more about the pitching process through the 170 wonderful young brothers I've been fortunate enough to coach, that they're really the basis of this foundation or pitching plan that I have. So I guess the way that you keep it up is you do the day-to-day grind of what you feel is right for each individual, and that individual's urgency should come to the forefront. Allow him to be the best him he can possibly be, and just things work out. And I've been very fortunate to have that, and I know many coaches out there have been very fortunate. When you got a young man that gives everything that he has, a young man that knows that this is his livelihood, this is plan A, and they move to plan A, it's an amazing thing to watch. As you all know, coaching yourself, it's a beautiful thing to see a guy take an ownership of his livelihood, of his career, and moving at it with single-minded focus, ridiculous work ethic, to see them move forward. It's beautiful, and what keeps me going is that beauty.
Yeah, that's great. Now, when you work with an individual, whether they be in high school or maybe at the freshman level, what kind of ingredients are you looking for to get out of maybe that guy to really understand if he can do the job or not?
Well, the thing that you got to look for, I believe, in anybody is their desire to be great. You'll run into individuals that just don't quite have it physically, but their desire and their work ethic takes them to a higher level. And you've got to see that in guys, and you can get a good read from that if you talk with them through the recruiting process. You ask them questions, you give them an opportunity to give you the responses of their heart. You'll find it. And what I like to look for in my freshmen, obviously you want to look for athleticism, but what trumps athleticism is competitiveness. That understanding that where I currently am is not where I'm gonna be. So I got to continue to move in the direction for what I believe I'm gonna be. Mm-hmm. So when you see that in an individual, the best thing that we can do is to just watch and facilitate with a no limits approach. The key to my job, and I got this from Coach Weinstein, is the ultimate goal of my job is to eliminate my job. And what that means to me is to find a young man with the heart, with the desire, with the competitiveness, give him the groundwork, and then back off. Let him get to where he needs to. And I'll be there, obviously, to help him with any questions that he has, any goals, any routines that I might, through my experiences, to share with him. But I need to eliminate my job. I need an individual that could take on his goal of reaching his potential. But the key factor for these young freshmen is to follow their heart. If they really love the game of baseball, they're not sitting down watching TV. They're not sitting down, or hanging out till 3 o'clock in the morning the day before a baseball game. They know that what the priorities are, and that priority has to be a single-minded focus to becoming great in their endeavors. And if they want to be a baseball player, they've got to do it like nobody else. Because they're not competing with the kids on their team, they're competing with the entire planet. So when you know that, you got to have that competitiveness, you got to have that desire. Through maturing and coaching, you could probably help them out fundamentally, but you need that competitiveness. We want our freshmen coming in saying, not next year, now. And I'm going to do everything to diligently make sure that I can do that now. It's on me whether I play or I don't play. I'm going to make that happen.
That's great. Now the University of Memphis, I don't know if you want to call it a tradition, but there's a coin that you carry around at all times. Can you describe that coin for us?
Yeah, this past season we went and took a little page from our military system, and they have what they call challenge coins. And our head coach, we discussed and decided we were going to make that a big part of our plan. We wanted our young man to put value into something. And for us, it's the University of Memphis and the baseball program. If we're trying to create warriors, warriors fight for something bigger than themselves. Memphis baseball is bigger than them, or the organization in which this young man is trying to become part of. It's bigger than them, and they've got to understand that. And we move in such a way that we want to elevate that program. So we have our guys carry this coin, and on our coin we have the University of Memphis logo, the tiger, the M Tiger, and on the other side we have a star, which our young men understand that it's a process of, to get where you're going, you need to know where you currently are. So it's a daily reminder for them to check themselves and say, where am I right now? Am I on the path to make my dreams come true? Am I on the path to make Memphis baseball the best that it can be? And around the star is the words, no better teammate, no worse opponent. And in the military, when you make that statement to an individual, when you say something complimentary to another member of the Marines, I believe it says, no better friend, no worse enemy. And for us, I mean, we've taken that, we're going to become no better teammate. We're going to have a servanthood like manner in which we address everything. What can I do for you? How can I help? That type of atmosphere for as being a teammate. Now the no worse opponent is, I'm fighting for Memphis. I'm fighting for this program. I'm fighting for this team, and I'm going to be no worse opponent. They're not going to find anybody worse than me. When they come to Memphis, to FedEx Park, I want the other team going, shoot, these guys mean business. This means something to them. We're going to be no worse opponent. So, you know, our coin, and you know, we carry it on our possession at all times, and you know, I have it with me at all times, and there'll be times where I will check myself and I'll say, where am I? What have I done today for the University of Memphis? What have I done for my teammates and my young brothers in that locker room? What have I done? And it's a constant reminder, and you know, it's working out really well, because you know, in the Air Force does this. I was at a clinic last week, and I sat at a table where the Arizona Diamondbacks do this with their players. And Trevor Bauer had it, and they require them to have it on their being at all time as well. So I asked Trevor, quite frankly, I said, well, where's your coin? And sure enough, he reached into his pocket, pulled it out of his wallet, here's his coin. So it's a wonderful thing, you know, and then there's many things that you can do to connect your team. This is the one that we've chosen.
That's outstanding, and you've definitely represented Memphis very well today. And lastly, if I ask you one more question, if you had one piece of advice to give to a high school recruit, you know, that maybe not only wanted to play at the University of Memphis, but maybe just at Division I or the collegiate level, what would that be?
That would be to have grit. Grit. And what grit is, it's the definition of grit is perseverance through adversity and pauses in progression. If you have grit, you know that life is a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to work through things. You're going to work through things to completion. So the one thing that I would say is, and a lot of people will tell you that one of the key attributes to finding success is having grit. And for me, you know, I've got an acronym for GRIT, which is my personal acronym, and that is God reflected individual toughness. If you've got grit, you're reflecting God's toughness in you. And I believe that's the key essential for anybody, whether it's to be the best student, to be the best father, to be the best husband, to be the best employee, to be the best baseball player you have to have grit. Too many times we find ourselves through adversity backtracking or not pushing through. Years ago, I heard that we were dealing with the reset generation. You know, when you play a video game and you lose 3 lives, you hit the reset button and start over. We've got to learn to take things through completion. So any young man that's out there listening to this, I would say, believe that you can be great and take it with grit. Attack it, persevere through it, know that you're at the right place at the right time all the time, so do it, and do it to completion. Achieve something. achieve it. Too many times, even through the small things, that we bounce back and forth, and we have a lot of things that are undone. Learn to finish what you start, and you'll find yourself doing great things. And that's not Fred Corral's philosophy. That's Fred Corral, having listened to a lot of successful people speak. A lot of successful people give their secret to success, and grit covers that for me.
Well, thank you very much. That's definitely some good advice. I appreciate your time today. Thank you, Coach Corral, for
Thank
everything.
you.
Thank you for viewing at home. Appreciate it.